Every dollar you spend should be spent on increasing your happiness or your pleasure. Let me explain. In most cases, money can't buy happiness, although there are ways that money can facilitate happiness. For example, going on a romantic date with your loved one, or flying home for the holidays. The focus is on the people, but is impossible without the money. But putting happiness aside for now, every dollar you spend should be on increasing your pleasure, and the increase in pleasure should be more than the decrease in money. See, having money in your bank account should give you pleasure in the form of peace of mind and long-term growth. So the question you have to ask yourself is, will this purchase increase my pleasure more than the decrease in pleasure from losing it? Example number 1, rent. You don't have to pay for rent. It's a choice. You choose to spend your money on a place to stay. You could live at home with your family. You could sleep on your friend's couch. You could sleep in your car. You could stay at the office, stay in a hostel, or even live on the street. These circumstances range from inconvenient to downright abhorrent. For most people, paying a large fee to have a stable place to live is worth it. It provides a massive increase in pleasure. Going from living under a bridge to staying in even a crappy apartment is orders of magnitude more pleasurable. In my opinion, it is worth the significant cost. But is not having a roommate worth the additional cost? Is moving out of your parents' house worth the additional cost? Is living closer to work worth it? These are all questions you will have to answer, but the bottom line is that rent is a choice that you choose to make to increase your pleasure. And it needs to increase your pleasure more than it costs to live there. Example number 2, transportation. Transportation varies widely from city to city, but the same rule applies. Do you really need a car? I live in a city that is a cycling desert, but manage to cycle my way around it. I can get to work, the grocery store, and more with just a bike. It's not always comfortable, and it's not always pretty. But the cost of running a bike is paltry compared to operating a 4,000-pound living room on wheels. For me, I get more pleasure in putting money in my bank account than I would staying warm for the 15 minutes it takes to get to work. A car just doesn't turn me on when I have to throw $3,000 plus a year to operate it. Imagine what I could do with that money. The point of all this is that every dollar you spend should be on increasing the quality of your life. And putting money in the bank is the best way of increasing the quality of your life. You should only divert money away from that when the short-term increase in pleasure is drastic and substantial. People don't have a good grasp on what things will increase their pleasure the most. For example, a new phone. Does having the newest iPhone really increase the quality of your life? Does it allow you to text a loved one any faster than on an older phone? Does accessing Facebook in HD really increase your pleasure? People think that if they just get this gadget or that car or those clothes, they'll be happy. Sorry, suckers, but they don't. If they did, then the richest countries would be the happiest countries. And they aren't. It takes more than the iPhone 13 or a BMW bullshit to bring someone happiness. It may increase your pleasure for a few days or weeks, but the shininess quickly fades away. Meanwhile, the dope that you made fun of for having an Android is busy putting his money into investments and retiring early or traveling the world. People overestimate the impact that a physical object will have on their happiness or pleasure. The reality is, they don't do very much, and the impact doesn't last very long. I get solace in knowing that I have enough money in the bank to quit my crappy job anytime I want. And I get pleasure from watching my money work for me, paying me dividends and increasing in value. And I get happiness by having the means to take my partner on a date or buying her flowers and seeing her smile. Every dollar should be spent on increasing your happiness or pleasure, and investing it is very, very pleasurable.